As you guys can see, today is a little bit different of a scouting mission. Testing out some of my access, looking to get to some faraway spots, setting up cams. It's gonna be fun. Going after these trees here, lone trees deep in the swamp. Here's where I think that deer was cruising, kind of by this watery stuff, is right here by the edge of the river. There's a bunch of this broadleaf arrowhead, otherwise known as duck potato. They eat this stuff like candy. It's crazy. There's actually a lot of trails and tracks leading out this way, and I believe this is why. It's all this stuff here. Well, I'm exactly where I had marked on my map where a possible bed might be. That one is carved in. It took forever to get back here. Oh my gosh. A really long paddle and a much worse walk. I'm finally here. And there's the bed I was hoping would be here. There's no way anyone's ever touching this area. Now to find a way to hunt it. Bed's under every tree. Man, way isolated. Gut rubbing on the surrounding cover. This is it. So it's really rare for me to set a camera in a tree that I want to be setting in and hunting in. And usually that's because I want to hunt it this season. I want to get a lot of intel out of it, and I don't want this camera to be disturbing this area. And so this season I might hunt this tree, but I think the more important thing for me is just to understand when deer are using this area. And given the nature of this area, we've got trees all around that represent bedding. We've got red brush everywhere that has mature buck bedding and rubs on it. Torn up trees right down there. More bedding behind me and a bed underneath me. And there's bedding on all three sides of this central hub. So a bed is a hub. Each one of these trees represents a hub, but this is the center of several major bedding areas. There's trails leading out here to food that phases in different times of the year. So I think this is bedding multiple times a year. There's plenty of brush here. There's enough brush that there will be shade even when the leaves are off. I do think this is going to be mostly a hotbed of bedding in the early season, but I'm betting the rut heats up pretty well here because it looks like there's plenty of doe bedding, and it's a very secure area that actually is the first time this entire year that I've seen absolutely no hunter sign in an area. This looks fantastic. So I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of this year's hunts for maybe a little bit worse hunting this year. I'm going to hunt it maybe once or twice, probably once in the early season, once in the rut, and I'm going to let this cell camera do the work for me. As far as the timing, it'll help me this year. I might be a little late by the time I get that picture, but it's certainly going to help me next year get the historical data and the historical knowledge, and be able to tell exactly when this is happening. So in this rare case, I'm actually setting a camera in a tree that I'm going to hunt in, but that's because that tree is extremely isolated. It's a hub of hubs, so it's a centralized location with a lot of different bedding. There's bedding that is held year-round here, so I need to figure out what specific times are the hot periods that I want to hunt it. And I'm willing to sacrifice those deer being spooked a little bit more so I can get intel that will last years to come and give me years of benefit. Also, I can hang this camera 3 sticks high in a tree. I can get this thing way up there, and I got plenty of signal, so this is not going to be doing very much damage. Yes, there's a chemical reaction going on with batteries. That's something unavoidable, but it's certainly something that I'm willing to risk getting them winding occasionally and then getting back to used to, because I don't think they're going to forego this area for much. It's a fantastic place for bedding. So I am very excited to get set with this camera and then set in here and maybe shooting a buck earlier and later this season. You can say there's a bit of pollen out here. That neon yellow hand is crazy. All over me, sketchy. I don't care if I go over my boots, but do not want to get this camera wet. Oh, geez. I'm at the top of my boots. I have this canal, I don't know how deep it is. This is my last choice. I'm just gonna have to get wet to get back here. It was all froze over before, so here goes nothing. I could go a long way around, but I don't have time for that. I'm gonna learn my lesson and take my keys and my phone out here. Okay, so I might go pocket deep. This is awesome. Oh, all right. Just drained into my butt. We made it. I'm out here along a deer's exit trail from bedding. There's a point that juts out into the swamp down there, and it has a trail that rounds way out and then curves back and comes in through here. And I'm noticing with a lot of these white oaks here, you can look up into the branches, see that not many of them are actually producing acorns, which is fine. I'm good with not the entire island producing acorns. I do want some so that I can time up when this buck is going to be here. So I travel a little further along his exit trail. I come up over here and I see that some of the white oaks in this area are producing acorns. It's got some starting right there. There's a clump of 4 right there. Got a few more patches up into the tree here. Right there. So you can see that I've got some acorns being produced. It's actually by quite young trees here. I've got just enough to kind of guarantee that he's going to want to come over here. So what I'm going to do is, instead of setting up a trail camera there, I'm just going to time up the drop of those acorns so I can actually observe this island from a distance, and I can use a cell camera in another area nearby that I'm not sure exactly when they're going to be hitting those acorns, and I can listen to video and see if they're dropping at the time. I can try to time up a windstorm and hunt right after that, or I can actually glass this from a distance and see if the acorns are plump and producing on some of these oaks in this island and see if they're dropping, and then time up that for the most optimal time for him to want to rush over here and reach me in daylight, because he's not going to make it far. But I think this is going to be a great spot right here. It's starting, just barely. down. It's probably gonna try to stay still. Back of the kayak. 1 mile out, paddle. Now we're home free. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. As always, appreciate it if you comment something that you'd like to see, something you liked about this one in particular, so I keep making the content that you like. Subscribe if you haven't already. Really appreciate the outcry of support I've had recently, and it really just makes me want to invest in this passion even more and keep seeing how good I can get at hunting. And it's a blast to be able to receive some messages from you guys saying that you gained something from it or that you appreciate what I do, because it just means the world to me that someone would invest in my passion and tell me that I'm making a difference in their life and something that's absolutely defining mine. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you again for that support, and I'll catch you in the next video.